Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Derek, and you are watching the Fragrant Mind podcast. Here, oops, sorry. Here, wherever you are. We are live right now on YouTube as well as Facebook and Instagram. And today we have an awesome episode. So we're doing something a little bit different today. As you know, we typically do men's fragrances, things like that. We have fragrance content creators, perfumers, industry insiders, things like that. Today, I wanted to do something a little different. So I reached out to a gentleman by the name of John Bonham, and he hosts a channel on YouTube called Cape Cod Wet Shaving. Now, he is a shaving slash men's grooming connoisseur. And I thought, man, I've really been getting into, not just the shaving aspect, but also the grooming part, the fragrance layering part. And I thought it would be super cool to have someone such as himself on the show to kind of talk about, men's grooming, fragrance layering, and all that goes into it. And I think this is going to be super exciting. So if that's your thing, definitely stay tuned. Also, before we get into it, I just want to shout out the website. If you want to follow us or AFSOM, A Fragrance State of Mind, definitely check out a fragrancedateofmind.com where you guys can score merch, access any of my videos. Also, you can follow me anywhere on social media. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube podcast channel, A Fragrant Mind Podcast on YouTube. It's super important. We're trying to grow that channel because that's where essentially you'll be able to stream all of the live episodes on top of Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify and the main channel on AFSOM. But that is where you will get to see all the clips, the shorts, the full videos, as well as be informed when we're going live every day, Monday through Saturday in the evenings. Now, here's the thing about our scheduling. So, as you know, having guests on, we sort of have to be flexible as far as, when we go live and everything. So, we are not going live streaming the same time every evening. That will change. But if you don't catch us live on any of those platforms, as I previously stated, you can access the full show every morning, Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. As I said, on a Fragrant Mind podcast YouTube, as well as on AFSOM on YouTube. All right, now that's out of the way, we're going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we will bring on our guest and get into it. Okay.
Welcome to A Fragrant Mind podcast, the ultimate fraghead show, featuring Fragrant Derek.
Look good, feel good, smell good.
Okay, welcome back. So as I said, my name is Derek, and you are listening to A Fragrant Mind podcast. Today is episode 4, and we have a very special guest. He goes by the name of John Bonham from Cape Cod Wet Shaving on YouTube as well as Instagram. And he is a shaving slash men's grooming enthusiast. And he's an amazing guy. He lives in Cape Cod with his wife and 5 children. His wife is active military. He is ex-military, and he's an awesome guy. And I'm really excited to have him on. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun today. So let's go ahead and bring him on, and we'll get the conversation started. I know he's super excited to be on the podcast. So welcome, John Bonham.
Hey, how you doing, Derek?
Hey, how's
Thanks
it
for having
going,
me.
man?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing good. So
Awesome.
I hope there's not a mix up of in the promotional material. People are thinking we got that other John Bonham.
Yes,
Do
I've
you
been
get
getting
that a
that since
lot?
grade
People are like, oh,
all the time. Since I was a little kid before I even knew what a band was.
were you named after? Were you named
I was
after the
not.
original?
It turned out
No.
to be a coincidence. A lot of people
Yeah.
think that, but it
Okay.
just turned out to happen that way.
Yeah. Is it a family name or? I mean, obviously the
Yes.
last name is, but like John
Yeah.
is a family name. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I was
So maybe
yeah. I mean,
maybe you guys
I
are the
was known as
original John Bonhams.
I was called Johnny for a while just to
Yeah.
differentiate, but I kind of outgrew that.
Yeah. What do you go by now? Is it just John or
Just John. Yeah.
just John? Yeah. As we age, we sort of take on our adult moniker, I suppose. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you do on social media, as well as like how did you get into wet shaving, men's grooming, all of that?
So I do a lot of videos. I do reviews, first impressions. I do. I'll just do videos just because I feel like doing it. Just kind of therapeutic. But
Mm.
so right in the beginning of 2020, around February or March, I found my great grandfather's straight razor and my late grandmother's stuff, and that's really what got me into looking up. The wet shaving aspect was I was just trying to do research on this razor, and I found out that there's still people using them and also still making them, and people still shave with the brush and with the shave soap and all that. And so I immediately got fascinated by that and went out and bought my first shave soap, and rest was kind of history, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever get into like the mustache award stuff and all that, like the championships and all? I see these videos
So
online where they're like doing these extravagant mustache things. I
I
see
do.
that your mustache is pretty well groomed,
It
so
drives my wife crazy, but no, I don't. There's anytime I think I got something good going on with it, I always look and find other people that just, I wouldn't hold a candle in a contest like that. I don't think.
yeah,
But
some of them get pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know if
oh yeah,
anybody's seen those things, but like they're literally, it's like pieces of art. They're like living art
oh
sculptures
for
or
sure,
something with their beards
they
and their
really are.
mustaches and all that. Yeah, there's like this whole like subset of people out there that really get into men's grooming, you know what I mean? Like
Oh, they do.
to an obsessive
Absolutely.
like level, like nerd convention style level. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy, but same thing
pretty
with
neat.
fragrances though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone
Do you,
loves what they love. A lot of
yeah.
them love it more.
So tell me, is there like a term for um like someone that's into wet shaving or men's grooming? Like in our community in fragrances, we call ourselves either frag heads or you know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
I've
is
heard
there
from
like a
it.
term like that?
No, just wet shaver or hobbyist is one of the big ones we use.
Okay. Very
Um,
cool. Yeah. Well, you guys, it sounds like you guys need a new name.
a certain
Like
moniker. Some of them call themselves frag heads.
okay, so they go by frag heads as well.
Some of them, yeah. But those
Yeah.
are usually guys that are into the EDPs and all that stuff as well,
Yeah, no
along with
doubt,
the
no doubt. Yeah. So I kind of just wanted to like, kind of talk about like some of the stuff that I have because obviously I'm not as deep rooted into the men's grooming shaving world, but it's something that I
yeah,
started really paying attention to, especially recently as I started getting healthier, as I started to, care about more about how I present myself, especially being on camera every day. The way you look and present is super important.
yeah.
So I can share some of the products I have, and maybe you can tell me if I'm using good stuff or if you could
Sure,
suggest other stuff that I should be trying. I don't want to go
sure.
super deep into like really niche, expensive stuff. I think
Yeah,
what I have is fairly priced. I don't know, like I don't go super cheap, but I also like I'm not willing to spend like $100 on a shaving cream.
yeah.
But
Important stuff.
yeah. So I'll show you like where I kind of started and
Sure,
so hold on one second. Sorry.
no problem at all.
Hmm. Apologize. My hat kind of got all messed up there. All right. So
No problem.
essentially, when I started researching like shaving and getting into more like getting away from like the disposables and the traditional
Yeah,
stuff, I started getting into the Harry's, subscription
yep.
model. And I kind of went for the big boy. And this is the guy that I'm using now, which I
Okay.
can't remember the name of it, but it's sort of like their premium handle. I guess it's like stainless steel or something. And I believe it's a 5 blade. And I know
Yeah.
you do a lot of the like actual like straight razor, like not straight
Yes.
razor, but like that
Oh
kind of
yeah, I'll do
stuff, right?
straight razors.
Yeah.
I'll do. I'm
Yeah.
so this is
Yeah.
People can't see it, but this is a Merkur
Yeah.
barber pole long handle,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
that's like the
a
stuff they use in the
double-edged,
barber shops, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like traditional
double-edged safety
barbering.
razor is what they're called,
Yeah.
and you use one blade.
Nice. Yeah. See, for me, I needed to walk before I run, so this is kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
But I mean, as far as this goes,
well,
it's really good. I really like it. It's super nice, ergonomic handle,
yeah,
and the shave is nice. And then also, I like the subscription model because they send you the refills as you need them, and they
yeah.
also let you like pause your refills if you're not shaving as
Oh,
much.
that's
But
cool.
I mean, I shave every day, so it's kind of needed. But I like this kind of option, and Harry seems like a good, solid sort of mid range deal. So yeah,
Yeah.
but then
I mean,
what's that?
I apologize. I was going
Oh
to say if it works for you.
yeah, I mean, obviously you're probably looking at it going like, this guy doesn't know what he's into,
No,
and then
not at
I
all.
also use some of their other products. I have this post shave balm, as well as some of their daily lotion.
I do have the post shave balm. I do like that.
Yeah,
The Harry's.
it's nice because it's a mild. It's not really scented, although it doesn't have a pleasant smell. But it's not like
Yeah.
scented, and it seems to moisturize your face pretty well, and
Yeah.
doesn't give you any itchies. But then when I got
And,
into
and
go ahead.
I apologize, man.
No, you're fine. Go
Um,
ahead.
I was going to say so there are some guys that use cartridges.
Yeah,
So there's some people that'll kind of turn their nose up at it,
yeah,
and there's some people that'll still use them. I just couldn't do it after the Mach 3. I used to use the Sensor
yeah,
XL,
yeah.
the Gillette, which was
Yeah, I
two
remember it
blades.
well.
I went up to 3, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was using Nevea,
Yeah.
and
So what would
it
you
was
say
terrible
is
to face up.
the main difference between going from the cartridges to something like along the lines of the
Of
rig that you use?
the safety razor.
Yeah,
It's just smoother for me.
smoother.
Um, and a lot of guys see. I don't really necessarily have a thick beard
Mm-hmm.
per se. A lot of guys have a really thick beard, and I would think those would be difficult to use. But I just think it's a smoother shave. You get a better post shave.
Yeah,
Uh, we have something that's called BBS. You
yeah.
might know what that is. Baby butt smooth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If
I
you ever heard that
struggle with
before?
that with these guys. Like I struggle.
Yeah.
I find that I'm having to go over and over and over again over my
Yep.
face to really get that smooth effect that I need. And I still end up with spottiness, and especially under the neck. That
Yeah.
seems
The
like a
next,
hard, difficult place to get,
it is.
because it's weird. Like it's like my hair grows in all these different directions, like on my
Yep.
neck and on the side of my
That's
cheeks
why
and everything. Yeah,
all of mine grows sideways.
yeah,
So when I
yeah,
shave right here,
yeah,
I literally have to go left to
yeah,
right
yeah.
at an
I
angle.
do. I don't. I can never figure out which direction it actually goes. So I just kind of go in every direction until it's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably wasting a lot of time actually getting a clean shave when I could use something more effective. I think my concern, and I think a lot of other people's going into like a razor such as that one,
Yeah.
is the fear of nicking yourself or something.
Oh yeah. That's definitely, it'll give you pause.
Yeah,
Like the safety razors, I have a handful of those. Well,
yeah.
a few, like 20 or so. And I know you have people that can't see,
Mm.
but there's a company called Dovo. This is called a Dovo Laform, and there's all kinds of things that go into it. There's the thickness of the blade. They go by measurements like 5/8, 6/8. This is a 6/8,
Yeah,
and this is an actual straight razor.
yeah.
And it's a company that still exists that still makes straight razors.
So someone
And
getting into using the straight razors, or I'm sorry, what do you call that other one? The one that you just
Shavette.
showed. Is that what it's
Oh, a
called?
safety razor.
Yeah,
Safety razor.
safety razor. Okay. So you've
Yeah.
got the straight razor and then the safety razor. Now, mind you, for those that can't see it, a safety razor kind of looks like a traditional cartridge razor, but it has a single
Yep.
blade. And I believe that you can replace just the blade.
Yes.
So it's more of like, imagine like the old school style, shaving,
Yeah.
But now, someone getting into it, such as myself, if I were to go towards something like that, I have two questions. One question is,
Sure.
what does the cost look like? What would be a fair assessment of how much should someone spend just getting into that kind of shaving? And then also, what would you suggest is the best way to transition and to train yourself how to use those setups without, risking cutting or nicking or anything like that?
That's a good question. So I don't know if you ever heard of Vanderhagen from the grocery stores or Walmart.
I was just going to show you this guy, which is the
Yeah, shea butter.
Vanderhagen
That
shave
stuff's
butter,
pretty
which
good.
is what I use. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you ever see the Vanderhagen razor, that's a safety razor. It's a butterfly or TPO, twist to open.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a new black one. They had a shorter silver one.
Mm.
That's a good one to start out with.
Yeah.
And what I would recommend is just doing a little bit of your face at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something called a 3-pass shave, and that's where you go with the grain of your hair, then you go sideways with the grain, and then you go against the grain last. And that's how, as you were saying, you don't know which direction your hair is growing in. Generally, you're going to get all the directions of hair by doing a 3-pass shave.
Mm.
So if you want to, let's say, start by going with the grain and then just stopping and then shaving with what you're used to.
Yeah.
And that way you'll be able to actually feel the difference, and you won't risk, easy does it. It's not a contest. You just do what you're comfortable with. And then once you actually start seeing results, you'll probably feel confident to start pushing the envelope a little bit more and more.
Yeah. So as far as handling the razor, is there a specific angle you'd want to go at, or
30 degrees?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, do you have a tutorial on your channel that helps people coming into it, like how to get started, proper techniques and things like that?
No. I had planned. I had always wanted to make one. I know I have a pre-shave soap one. I do need to make one.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Would you commit to doing that this week, and then I can link the viewers to that?
Absolutely.
I think that would be super helpful, not only for the viewers, but honestly for me myself. Like I would love for something to be able to follow along to while I'm shaving. That way I know how to get started. Because if I'm going to get into that, it's like I need a video that's going to really walk me through step by step how to do it. Kind of like, your father growing up teaches you how to shave.
Yeah.
It seems like with the cartridge situations, it's kind of like it's pretty foolproof. But with those guys, it seems like you need someone to really walk you through it, kind of be that fatherly figure,
Yeah. I mean, just the 30-degree thing is just because if you do too steep an angle, you could risk cutting yourself. If you do too shallow, you'll just drag and give yourself razor burn.
Yeah. Now, I will say with the shave butter that I use, which I have the Vanderhagen here, which is an orange bottle, I like the way this smells also, but it's kind of got a mild, almost like
a cocoa.
Like a cocoa butter vibe, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing I don't like about it, I'm not in love with, is just the fact that it doesn't lather like your traditional Barbasol or something.
Nope.
So what I've been getting into is this this Cremo shave cream in the similar bottle. I really like this. Here's my only complaint though. This is the mint version, and it just goes a little too hard in the paint with the mentholated kind of like vibe. So it almost like, the longer it sits on my skin, it kind of like almost goes too hard on the tingle, like it almost starts to borderline burn. So I'm not in love with that. And that's kind of what turned me off so much about the mint one. So I did go out and I bought the classic citrus. So I wanted to try this one.
That one's pretty good. That's our first one.
Yeah, if I was going to get a better vibe with that one. But
Cremo's really good. They're very slick.
Yeah.
I do like Cremo.
No, I love the texture. And also it has this like weird kind of like effervescent glow about it,
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I know what you mean.
I don't know how they do that.
Like a mother of pearl kind of.
Yeah, like a pearl, exactly like a pearl vibe. Yeah, I really like that. But no, I prefer the shave cream in the squeeze bottles much more than I think the Barbasol. Because with the Barbasol, I know they're using like these like propellants and stuff, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like, getting it straight from the bottle because you're getting like the pure shaving cream.
Yep.
And also Cremo seems like a good brand because it's more high end. It's better, better scented in my opinion.
Readily available. Well, you had asked about a cheap option. That's a good one to start with.
Yeah. And I saw your recent video about like Walgreens and stuff. And that's where I shop for most of my shaving stuff is Walgreens because I go right across the street and pick that stuff up.
For your viewers that can't see, I found a cream, a brand new Walgreens shave cream, and I saw it, and it was I had said in the video it was like $12. I was way off. It was $6.50.
What?
So
And
for the price, it's like I gotta try that. And it's sandalwood, and I love sandalwood.
and the
So
crazy thing is, Walgreens usually does deals where it's like buy one get one half off or
yeah,
something like that. So
yeah, can't beat it. So I was like, I gotta give that a shot. And then I
how,
was just gonna do it, and I thought, you know what? And I went online and Googled, and I didn't see anyone had done videos with it. So I
mm.
said, I'll do a quick video in
How does the
case anyone's
sandalwood come
curious.
across in that one?
Great. I think it's kind of more of a Mysore sandalwood.
Mm-hmm.
I like Indian sandalwood because it's like really sharp.
Yeah.
Um, Hawaiian, which is really kind of creamy, kind of really low key,
Mm.
and then the Mysore, which is kind of almost like a greener, in my opinion. I really like it. It's kind of cologne like, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I,
So it would be good
I
for
think that's my
layering.
yeah. I think that's my favorite thing about it was the scent of it. I wish they'd
Mm.
make a EDT or something out of it. It'd be very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, there are actually tons of really nice sandalwood based fragrances. I didn't pull any
Yeah.
out, but I don't know, maybe I could find one. But anyway, um yeah, I think, what's nice is like certain notes like sandalwood or cashmere, sort of even vanilla, citrus, those are
Yes.
really good sort of layering scents because they can be blended with pretty much anything,
Yeah.
and they come across as pleasant. So
They do.
yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. Because I didn't see that Cremo made a sandalwood version. I don't know if they do or not,
They
but
do.
they do really.
They do. Yep. And they have it in the tube, and they actually have a tub of it. And I don't think they make the tub anymore.
Oh wow.
Have one if I can reach it
Mm. I don't know. Yeah.
right here.
Oh,
And
nice. Yeah.
it's an actual jar of
Yeah.
the shave cream from Cremo,
That's super
and it's pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that texture? Like, what is the texture of that like? Is it like something you have to mix with water and then how does that
Yeah,
work?
it's a very, very soft. I mean, you would just take your brush and you just dip the brush in. You wouldn't even swirl it around really. It's just very,
Yeah.
very soft.
You just introduced into the whole level because I don't even have a brush. I just use my hands.
That's another thing. You got boar brush, you got badger.
Mm.
Well, there's the texture if you want to.
Oh wow, that's kind of disgusting looking.
Yeah, it doesn't. It looks a little like cream of wheat or something, but
Yeah.
you can see me put my finger in it.
No, that looks even nastier. Don't do that. That does not look good.
Smells good though.
Yeah, it looks
It's good.
amazing. Well, that's the thing is always those like really high end products sort of look really funky, but they
Yeah,
perform well.
they do. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So if you were to like tell me the ideal setup for someone, like from start to finish, as far as like your morning routine, how would you paint that picture?
Um, well, your methods kind of vary. They have something called a pre-shave oil,
Mhm.
which you can actually put on your skin and you let it soak in. It softens your hair, softens your skin. You could use that. Some people don't because they
Mhm.
say all the ingredients for that are in the soap itself. So I
Yeah.
would say, and then here in New England, as you know, when it gets really, really cold, I don't know about you, but my face gets like really, really dry.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I do an aftershave and a post-shave balm.
Yeah.
Some people do one or the other. I do
Mm.
both
Yeah.
because the alcohol takes the moisture out and the balm puts it back in. So I
Yeah.
would say a soap, an aftershave, and a balm.
Yeah. See, what I usually do to kind of moisturize my face is I always wait till after I shower to
Yep.
shave. And the reason is because sort of the steam in the water,
Yep.
the hot water will sort of like open up your pores and
Yep.
moisturize your face. And then what I'll do is I'll apply my shave cream and then I brush my teeth so that I sort of let the shave cream soak
That's
into the
smart.
skin while I'm brushing my teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that
there's a
seems to
reason
be
they do the hot towel shave. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That
yeah.
exact reason.
Yeah, but I don't usually go right in on the shave. I'll let it kind of sit, do my other stuff, clean my ears, brush my teeth, mouthwash is usually the last step. That's sort of the final step before I walk out the door. But yeah, yeah. And then I don't know, do you this is kind of a weird question, sort of off topic. Do you floss before or after you brush?
After.
Yeah, right? That
Dude, that's funny. My wife and I have this friendly argument because she does it before. I'm like, why would you
yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Because then you brush and then it pushes stuff back into the cracks of your teeth.
Yeah. Plus, you need to do it at the end because then what happens is when you rinse with the mouthwash, it gets rid of all the particles.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And then it gets between your teeth to stuff that it wouldn't get to otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
All
That's
the
really funny
steps
you
and
asked me
stages to the grooming part,
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tampering. That's
Okay,
funny.
so I will use my shave balm. Would you this is something I'm wondering. So I will use a lotion, like a face lotion, if I'm not
Yep.
shaving that day. But would you suggest applying a face lotion over the balm, or do you think the balm is enough to keep your face moist?
Oh, the balm would be enough.
Yeah.
I would honestly say one or the other, because then
Yeah, I
you'd
agree.
overdo it.
Yeah, I agree. Just because, like, I think, they both have a place, but I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I think that's why they make the bottle so small on the lotion, because it's not something you need to use every time. This is something you use
Well,
like on the in between times, like either if you're going on a date that night, you shaved in the morning, it's something good to throw
Yep.
on just to kind of, maybe brighten your face up a little bit, give it a little moisture, a little youthful for us old folks, give us a little youthful sheen. But yeah, but that's another thing though, is just keeping moisture on your skin at all times is super
Yeah.
important. Not only for, the moisture aspect, but also as long as you're giving your skin moisture, it'll actually help you project fragrances better and it helps with longevity. Just the altogether performance of a fragrance will
Really?
perform better if you are moisturizing your skin. That's why I always
I
suggest using actually have this guy right here.
didn't know that.
Some of this so Evolution of Smooth I use
Yeah.
on my arms and neck. And this one is actually the Fresh and Cozy one.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, and so this is a great fragrance layering, and then I always put this on first, and then I spray the fragrance over it
Oh,
because
that's
it'll
awesome.
help, especially with something that's not as strong that people are like, "Oh, I love the way that smells, but it doesn't last long."
Yeah.
You will double to triple your performance of a fragrance just by adding a layer of
Oh,
lotion
that is
underneath.
awesome, dude. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do.
little
I'm gonna
tip.
use that.
Yeah.
Thank
I don't
you.
know if you ever watch the Cologne Boy, he says every time before he sprays a fragrance, he goes, "Oh, I got to lotion up." Yeah. It's key. I think a lot of the younger kids know this now. Like it's sort of ingrained
I
in
didn't.
them, but us old heads seem to overlook that aspect.
Interesting.
The importance of
All right.
moisturizing. Yeah. Also, hydration is super important. If you drink a lot
Yeah,
of
for sure.
water, that
Yeah.
helps because that will just naturally moisturize your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like especially in the hot heat in the summer, you don't want to be rocking like too much lotion because it gets a little
Mm-mm.
oily, greasy, and kind of
It does. Yeah.
doesn't mix
And then
well with the sweat and the perspiration. So maybe by just drinking tons of water, you won't need to use a lotion in the summer.
I have the opposite problem in winter. I actually have two different types of shampoos I use. That actually made me think of something.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I have like a standard shampoo in winter in the cold months, and then I have a shampoo I use in the warm months.
Really?
Yeah, because my skin reacts completely different. That's what I mean. It's very
Wow.
bizarre. I get
Yeah.
very oily and greasy in summer, and then I get dry and like kind of ashy in wintertime.
Now that I think of it, I think I have the same problem. So I have a problem with psoriasis, especially like at my hairline in the back of my neck. Like it'll start to flake and then like get
Yep.
stabby and almost like hurt,
Oh, that sucks. I get
So
dandruffy. Yeah.
yeah, but what I use to offset that is I use the Paul Mitchell green, the tea tree,
Yep.
the mint one. It's super
How is
expensive, and
that? How is it?
oh, it's amazing. It's got that tingle. Like that's one thing they always talk about is the tingle. Although
Yeah.
I think they reformulated the ingredients recently, so it doesn't sort of have the bite that it used to. And I think a lot of people are noticing that. Also, it's not cheap. It's like $40 a
Yeah.
bottle.
Oh my
But
gosh.
but a bottle will last me literally like 6 months,
Oh, that's cool.
But even then it doesn't make sense because you're still paying like way too much.
Do you
But
ever switch fragrances based on the season?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, but here's the thing though. So a lot of people will say, "Oh, this is a summer fragrance, spring, whatever." For me, I'm of the mindset to wear what you want when you want.
Yeah.
But that being said, common sense will tell you in the summer you want to wear something a little more fresh and vibrant, maybe even
Yeah.
on the marine accord vibe.
Yeah.
Your more versatile scents are going to be your fougères, your blue fragrances,
I love the shit.
things like that. And then, of course, in the winter cold weather, you're going to want your heavier, darker, maybe like your woody oud scents, some of
Yeah.
your your spicier, maybe like heavy gourmands, or you know, your like heavily spiced things like spice bomb, or
Yeah.
like stronger with you, fragrances, things like that. Those tend to perform much better in the cold weather. That being said, it doesn't mean you can't wear it in the summer. It just means,
Yeah. For sure.
they perform better off your skin in those seasons. But yeah, I mean, if you only own one cologne or one fragrance,
Yeah.
rock it with reckless abandon, man. Like, don't let
That's
anyone tell
so.
you can't wear it because of the temperature out.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I just have more of a tendency to lean one way or the other usually.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think just naturally, like especially when spring comes, we
Yeah.
tend to gravitate more toward the fresher, more like citrus, floral,
Yeah.
earthier, those, kind of greener tones. You know what I mean? It just
For sure.
it brightens your mood, makes you more energetic.
It does. I agree.
Yeah, and especially, that's when you start breaking out the minty stuff and all that. You
Yeah.
sort of want that fresh kind of like uh effervescent vibe. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Yeah. But so tell me about, like, what do you like usually wear for fragrance? Like, do you stick mainly with the lotions and the aftershaves, or do you get into like fragrance layering? I mean, do you own a bottle? How many bottles would you say you own?
Of aftershave or of cologne?
Cologne or fragrance? Yeah, we
Oh,
call it fragrance because
oh, I see.
so little story here, just to not to go too much off topic, but in
No, sure.
America, we tend to men call men's fragrance cologne, and women call women's fragrance
Yes.
perfume. Now, the actual correct term would be perfume, and actually, perfume
Yeah.
encapsulates everything. But as a fragrance enthusiast, we all call it just fragrance, a blanket term,
Yeah.
fragrance, which
Well,
can
EDP is
yeah,
Eau de
which can
Parfum.
so those would be fragrance concentrations, which is
Hmm.
actually where the term cologne comes from. So cologne actually has two meanings. So a traditional cologne is actually a style of fragrance, similar to a fougere or a floral or something along those lines. But
Okay.
also, eau de cologne would be the concentration, meaning the percentage of oil to alcohol in a fragrance.
Yes.
So, for instance, like this right here, I believe is an eau de toilette.
Yep.
And then,
What is that?
like,
3%?
huh?
Is that
Um,
3%? I'm trying to.
I should
I don't know.
know. I believe it's right around 10 to 12%, if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken. But once again, there's no real. I mean, they will tell you there's supposed to be a certain amount, but I think it's different for every brand and everything as to how much they put. But I think, yeah, it's
Okay.
between, in that range. The higher in concentration you go, the more oil to alcohol there will be. So, like, for instance, you start with like the eau fraiche, and then you've got the eau de cologne, and then you've got the eau de toilette, eau de parfum, parfum, extrait de parfum, all that.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, so like when you get into like the eau de parfums or the parfums, you're getting more fragrance oil to alcohol. That being said, the alcohol will project better because the alcohol helps push that fragrance off of your skin. So if you want something that's going to push and create a really wide scent bubble, you go with the lesser concentrations like an eau de cologne or an eau de toilette. If you want something to sit closer to the skin that's going to maybe last longer also, then you would go with a parfum or an eau de, or a or a extrait de parfum or something like that.
Okay.
For me, my preference, I like the EDPs because it's sort of that happy medium where you're going to get a good scent bubble. You're also going to get a decent longevity. And I think with most fragrance, actually, I think a lot of companies are leaning more toward the EDP side of things. They also sell the best. Like EDPs tend to sell the best. But once again, it doesn't matter because the other factor is the ingredients. So certain notes will perform better based on certain concentrations, right? Which is why the higher up in the concentration you go toward the parfums, et cetera, you tend to have darker, more richer notes opposed to the lighter, airier notes that are typically used in EDTs, just because of the way they play with those concentrations. Way off topic and more in depth than anyone needs.
No,
and honestly, it's like I said, and then there's so many other nuances that go with it, and then also, it's a whole rabbit hole. But that's basically the basic picture of what all those terms mean.
Yeah.
So that being said, when most people or most men talk about what they wear, they call it cologne, and I still get I still once in a while will let it slip and call it a cologne, but the proper term really is fragrance or even perfume.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like obviously perfume is
remember that.
like this is still made by a perfumer, so it is a perfume. But Anyway, way off topic. But while we're getting into that, why don't you show me a couple bottles that you have that you own that you use?
One of my favorites and one I've used the longest.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Kenneth Cole Black, of course. That's a classic.
Oh yeah, I started wearing it right after high school. I graduated in 2000. I'm pretty sure I can't remember when it came out. It was right early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine and I were going out somewhere, and he just happened to like throw a shirt or a coat on, and I got a big whiff of it. And I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And so that was when I really started kind of getting into colognes a little bit.
Yeah.
And then this was actually sent to me. I have a soap that's a dupe of this. And I bought the soap, and a friend of mine overheard me say I had never smelled the cologne. And so he sent me a travel size.
Oh, Armani Code, absolutely.
Yes. So
do you know the concentration of that one?
I do not.
Okay.
Is it on the bottom? There's EDT.
EDT, nice.
So that's one thing. So I started getting into the soap and the aftershave.
Now, is that a decant that you have there?
For the Armani?
Yeah, is that a little decant or?
I believe so. It's a little sprayer.
Yeah, like a 15 mil?
Yep.
Nice. So if you ever
20.
Okay, 20 mil. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so if you like that, like little kind of having a travel size like that, and a lot of people actually prefer that over the full bottles because they can travel with it. They could take it on airplanes. Plus you can carry multiple of those and then kind of have a little fragrance wardrobe in your bag or carry on. I actually partner with a company called Decant Boutique, Fragrance Decant Boutique, and they have thousands of fragrances that you can either get anything from like a tiny sample up to the 15 mil bottles. They have these really cool kind of like twist holders where you can put the bottle in it and you can swap them out. So you can kind of use it as a little, tuck away. It's a really cool setup, and they're super affordable. You don't have to like dive deep into, spending the hundreds of dollars that bottles go for. You could drop a 10th or even sometime a 20th of what you would pay for a full bottle and get more of the high-end designers, niche indie fragrances, and let you kind of try before you buy. So if you guys are interested, definitely check out decantboutique.com, and you guys can use code Fragrant SOM10 to score 10% off. So once again, that's decantboutique.com. So yeah, cool. Sorry for that little plug, but got to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So speaking of seasonal,
Yeah, let's see.
I don't know how you feel about this one. So this is a replica of an old style bottle, and this is Stetson,
Oh yeah, dude.
original Stetson.
Oh, that's beautiful,
And
man. Where'd you get that
and
from?
my wife got me this for Christmas. It was a gift set,
Yeah.
and there's aftershave and cologne, and this is the cologne, I believe.
Yeah,
But
that's a really
it's a
nice one.
replica of the bottle from back in the day, and then I have Stetson Legend.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's a
So
much
Legend
more
is mine.
yeah, that's a more
Yes,
modernized version, very masculine sort of it's
kind
a
of oody.
very woody, intense kind of like oak
Yeah.
mossy fragrance. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I use in winter, and then the normal Stetson I use in summer and spring.
Yeah. Awesome. So I actually have a couple here that I wanted to suggest to you that I think you
Oh,
would really
please do.
like.
Okay.
And they kind of range from like the affordable to the higher end. But once again, if you're interested in trying these, you can definitely check out Decant Boutique
Sure.
and score like a little 15 mil. That way you can, give them a go before you sink your money into buying, the full bottle. But this one right
Absolutely.
here, this is an actual older fragrance. I can't remember when it came out. I want to say in the late 90s. But this was actually the last fragrance that Gianni Versace creatively directed for Versace before he passed away.
Yeah.
And this is just an amazing scent, in my opinion. And I absolutely love this one. So, and hold on one second.
I do want to try Versace Eros.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this one is Versace the Dreamer, which you can
Okay.
see here.
Oh,
Kind of
that's
got a
cool looking.
classic Versace look. They've actually
Yep.
changed the presentation quite a bit over the years. But you can pick this one up at like a rack store like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. They almost always have the Dreamer.
Really?
And they sell it for like 20, 25 bucks. So it's not expensive. And
Okay.
the only thing is the performance on this is not great. But it does have that sort of masculine fougere effect, but also a slightly powdery. In my opinion, sort of has a more modernized take on that style, that classic sort of aggressive men's, style from like that we got accustomed to from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. This is a more modernized take on it. But of course, they have more modern versions. But this one is great for like the more mature man, especially someone I think that's into the shaving and the grooming. This one feels
Okay.
so along those lines, and I absolutely love this. And I'm actually gonna, yeah.
I think I have to check that out.
Oh, this is a really nice fragrance. I really think you would like this one. Like I said, you can
Okay.
get it at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, like 20 bucks. Really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the next one I wanted to talk about is this one is a classic, and I believe this one's from like the 70s. And you can still get it, and I believe you can get this on Amazon too for around 20 bucks or something like that. Maybe a little more. I'm not really sure, but this one is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme.
Never
And
heard of that one.
just by the looks of the bottle, you can tell that is straight up, 70s, hopping in your truck, driving down the road,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, but this stuff, so when you talk about a classic fougere, this is like heavy on the oak moss, very mossy, green, woody, masculine, but really clean and soapy. So what this reminds me of is if you know Irish Spring soap.
Yep.
So that sort of green, scent that you get from Irish Spring. That's what this smells like to me. This smells
Oh,
like
that's cool.
bottled Irish Spring, and it's really nice. So this is it's that clean green soapy vibe
Yep.
that I get from this. And also, this stuff projects and performs pretty good. Doesn't last super long. They have reformulated this, so it's not lasting as long as it used to. But on a
Gotcha.
good day, this will last me a solid 6-7 hours.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
pretty
really
good.
cheap. So this is one that I definitely stand by. But the next two are more modern. So these are pretty modern releases. Although this one is discontinued now, so it's harder to find. And if you do find it, you're going to pay a pretty penny. But I had to mention it because it's sort of the perfect, in my opinion, fougere modernized take on that DNA. And this one's At the Barber's by Replica, and that is a Maison Margiela fragrance.
Okay.
And this smells like every aspect of being at the barber's. So you get the talcum powder, you get the shaving cream, you get the aftershave, you even get the scent of the liquid that the scissors sit in.
Really?
You get all that, every aspect. It smells like being like sitting in the chair, getting a nice, shave, getting the powder at the end. You walk out and you just smell the aroma of that fresh cut, and that's what you get with this. This is an absolute. This will transport you, and it actually says on the bottle, shaving and leathery notes. So it's just shaving and leathery notes is how they describe it, and it's At the Barber's, Madrid, 1992. So the provenance and period is Madrid, 1992. Fragrance description: shaving and leathery notes. Style is male fragrance. Maison Margiela. Once again, this is discontinued. You can't really find it in stores, but if you go online, sometimes you can find it. I know I bought this around 3 years ago, and I want to say I paid around 110 for it. But this one is spectacular, and this is one that I always wear when I go for my haircut. Yeah. Now this one is a niche fragrance, and this once again has a sort of fougere-esque touch to it, but this one actually leans more on the fresh aquatic style of fragrance. So imagine your Aqua di Gios, your Issey Miyakis and things like that. Your light blues by Dolce & Gabbana, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But this is from a perfumer called Roja, and his name is Roja Dove, but this is his house, Roja Parfums, and this one is Elysium. And this bottle's gorgeous.
I love that bottle.
So this one does go a little more on the expensive side. This is around, it really gets up there if you're buying it retail, but you can get this on discounters for under $200, but yeah, between like 180 and 200. But this is gorgeous. This is an absolute stunner. The only disappointing part is I think the performance is not super great. But once again, if you're layering it with a lotion, this can really push out. Also, they make a product called Molecule 1, which is an unscented spray that you mix with a fragrance such as this, and it will increase the projection and longevity. So, but Molecule 1 can get a little expensive. I know they sell it for around $150 for a full bottle. So that's if you want to get serious into it. But if you don't, you just use a lotion, spray this over it. It's going to perform really well. But the DNA on this is absolutely stunning. And I think this is one you would absolutely love. I think really if you're going into the really expensive side, this is the one. But if you want to have like a more affordable smell, like either one of these guys is going to be up your alley. This one's more on the masculine side. This one's more along the lines of like, going to an event, going to a party, wedding, those kind of events. So this is like dressed up. This is everyday casual.
Yeah.
So sorry about that long-winded kind of
no, that's great
presentation, but I thought I'd share it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So dude, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been awesome. So there was one other thing I wanted to mention, but I can't think of it at the moment. I apologize. Why don't you go ahead and let us know how we can get a hold of you, where people can find you, and then if there's anything you want to mention, go right for it.
So I'm at Cape Cod Wet Shaving on Instagram, same on X, and Cape Cod Wet Shaving on YouTube. And I was trying to do 2 videos a week, and then it's been kind of spotty just because of my kids. I have 2 very young kids under 2. My wife went back to work for maternity leave, so it's been kind of hectic, but I'm trying to get back into a routine as far as the videos go.
That's right. You have 5 kids, right?
Yes. 18, 14, 10, year and a half, and 5 months old.
You guys are going to be parents into your like
Oh, in my 60s, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Yep. So
yeah. So you got
wouldn't
a
go. I wouldn't.
full busy life,
Okay.
huh?
I do. Yeah.
So are
I
those
was
your
about to say
toys
I
in the
wouldn't trade it for
background
anything.
there? Are those your toys, or do you collect toys, or
Yes.
is that your kids'
Yeah,
stuff?
that's Galactus. Darth Vader. I have a big. What is that? Like a 16-inch, 18-inch Galactus that talks to you.
Are you a collector
I,
of that kind
yes.
of stuff?
There's some Dragon Ball bobbleheads
Oh
that you
wow.
can't see.
I see a Darth Vader
Silly
back there
stuff.
too.
Yep. That's a big one. That's like 2.5 feet tall, 3 feet tall, maybe
Yeah.
2.5 feet tall. Darth Vader.
You
Then
look
I
like
have
a collector of everything. You kind of have a mishmash of everything back there.
really, yeah. If I like it, I'll grab it and just if I like it enough, I'll put it on display. I have a barber. This here's a barbershop candle that my son's girlfriend bought me for Father's Day.
Oh, nice.
I only burn it every now and then because it smells so good. I don't want to
Oh, that
run
looks
out.
really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, one thing I did want to mention though, while we're
Mm.
talking about fragrance, if you don't mind me taking it back to that,
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
was how interesting the history of it is.
Mm.
I love how oud, for instance, is a fungus.
Yeah.
Ambergris is the contents of a whale
Yeah.
that they find floating in the ocean.
Mm.
I just think it's pretty neat how, over I guess the millennia, you go all the way back, you're looking at myrrh and everything else, frankincense, how we've just figured out
Mm.
the stuff that smells good and how to cultivate it.
Yeah. And even the history of like the old like before we had like indoor plumbing and all that, the
Yeah.
absolute necessity that fragrance played,
Oh, for sure. Well, during the bubonic plague, they thought it was bad smells,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
disease. So they're
Yeah.
using flowers and, perfumes and all that.
Yeah. What they discovered was actually it was the rats.
Yep.
And what they did to get rid of the plague was they just unleashed a bunch of cats into the town, and the cats killed the rats, and then the plague was gone.
I think I think the ironic thing was that's what brought the rats in was they got rid of the cats because that was like a big witchcraft
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
So that they're viewed as familiars, and so they got rid of the damn cats, and here come the rats.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy
pretty
how
interesting part of history.
Yeah. It's crazy how like doing just a minor change like that can bring on such a huge shift
for sure.
in everything. Yeah. But yeah, that was like when you talk about French perfumery, you think of like, oh, the craft of like the bourgeois wearing fragrance. Like, no,
Yeah.
they were doing it out of like necessity. Like, there were people that literally would not go into town because just the idea of stepping into that cesspool of stank was like dreadful. You know what I mean? Just imagine, living amongst the filth and
like
the
sewage in the
nasty.
streets and everything else. Oh, I can't, man.
I can't even imagine, and just imagine how like a hot summer day would smell. Like now when we think of summer, you think of the beautiful smells of the green and the flowers and the water and all that. But imagine being in like back then when like when the sun came out, that's when the stank was most potent. You almost prayed for winter
then
because everything would freeze over.
Like only the rich were able to bathe regularly. So, and then even then they had those big powdered wigs that they didn't wash constantly. So they were everyone had to douse themselves in something.
And imagine how nasty even the lakes were back then. Like, if you had a pond or something, that was your toilet, that was your bathtub, that was everything.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Let's not get into that. How blessed are we that we get to sit here and pick apart which shaving creams to use and things like that. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
like we are so blessed that we can even pick apart what scents to use and what notes and what creams and all this stuff. Like, and the thing is that we think of those times as being like this sort of distant past, but there are still tons of places all over the world that still live like that,
Yeah, for sure.
So how blessed are we?
Sad. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
For sure.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna have you back on, man, because this was super fun.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. Hopefully after you do that video, maybe we could, we touch base again and
Yeah.
talk
Let
about it.
me.
You know?
I'll reach out to you and you tell me specifically what you want me to throw in there.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can, I'll make sure to link it in my. So definitely go to AFSOM on YouTube, as well as follow me on Facebook and Instagram. So on Instagram, I just opened a new Instagram called Official AFSOM, and so you guys can follow me there, and I'll be sure to link John's video when it goes live, so you guys can check that out.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys can also check me out on Facebook at the A Fragrant State of Mind page, as well as AFSOM. Be sure to check out the Fragrant Mind podcast on YouTube. And once again, you can also follow us on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it went by quick.
Absolutely. This was cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, have a fragrant state of mind.
Take care.
This has been a Fragrant Mind podcast. Be sure to visit afragrantstateofmind.com or subscribe to AFSOM on YouTube. As always, have a fragrant state of mind.